we have to allow every child this opportunity to exercise free will. So we believe that there is such a thing as free will. But free will is basically being able to choose where you are in that balanced state where choice is psychologically possible. So what I'm saying here is what I'm got in my very last bullet. And that is this idea that everything I was talking about in my first keynote, that we have this moral obligation now to strive as hard as we can in our own respective ways to ensure that every individual, every group is free, every group is equal. And our own contribution, or at least my own contribution, is through self-regulation. That what I find is that across the board, and this is a very interesting point, and this is the point that first bullet I mentioned, Wilkinson and Pickett. I'm going to talk about them next week. I think they've written a very, very good book. So what I'm finding is that this is their hypothesis, but reframed in self-reg terms. In an unequal society, so a society where the disparity between the wealthiest and the poor is severe, is great. The greater the distance, the greater the inequality of a society, the less every individual is free. And that means not just those that are struggling to survive at the bottom of the social gradient, but the ones at the top aren't free either. And this, I think, is one of the great insights that Wilkinson and Pickett have made in the spirit level and then in the new book, the inner level, that as a society, we all pay the price for inequality. Now, here's the question I wanted to leave you with. Where does that idea come from? It came from the founders of the radical Enlightenment. That's what they gave to us. That was their big insight. Their insight was we need equality for everyone to benefit. It's not just some sort of social redistribution. The whole society suffers for inequality, even if you don't think so. So my own take on all this has been, this is such a moving, this is such an inspiring vision. Why did it go wrong? And what went wrong was the execution. What went wrong was certain ideas were built into it that that weren't able to fulfill what they wanted, weren't able to make this dream a reality. So I come back to, why did I call it a radical re-enlightenment? And I called it that because I don't have any new values. I had these values when I was a kid. I believe in these values. My big thing is that I think we as self-regulars have a unique opportunity through parenting and through educating to finally make changes at the ground level. That's why I've been resisting, I think I could probably write those great inspirational quotes like anybody else. But what's missing is the how. And that's why Susan and I are a team. It's this constant, Susan, me coming up with ideas for the how. And even this morning we were doing it again. And then Susan is saying, okay, you can do this, you can't do that, blah, blah. And that's what this is all about. So for me, this is more than just a philosophy masterclass. I don't know what you call it, but for me, this is basically telling you how I see what you guys are all doing and why this is actually a really, really big deal.